better be in focus. I will cry. I will cry. I will cry. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I already filmed this video and my camera didn't properly focus on me, so I was completely blurry. My background was all in focus. I wasn't, and it was just, it was wonderful. So I get to film all this again. So if you're wondering why it doesn't really seem like a first impressions of me seeing these, it's because I've seen them all before. So, but here we go. I've been wanting to try Girl Cult for forever now. However, they're a little bit more on the expensive side when it comes to things. I really don't like paying more than like $10 per an item. Sometimes for something special, I'll do like a $20 limit, but really I prefer to stick to somewhere under 10 is the preference, but 10 to 15 in this economy is kind of, you know, still a good deal. And Girl Cult's just a little bit more expensive than that. But if you go to Shein, their app, you can actually find Girl Cult stuff for a hell of a lot cheaper than you would if you were to go to TikTok, YesStyle, Amazon, anywhere else that you can find Girl Cult. These, I got them, they ranged anywhere from $7 to $8 and some change. They weren't like a consistent price, they were kind of all over the place. But it allowed me to say, okay, I can make a video about them, and then I can justify getting them because I've always wanted to try them. Like, if you want unique, cool toned lip stains, Girl Cult has you covered. Like, you can't find cool toned lip stains in these colors. I don't think, like if you went to Ulta, definitely not. You know, if you just pop into a store here in America, you're not, or probably anywhere in the West, you're not going to find anything like this. So we're definitely going to need to start from lightest to darkest. I don't know if I can remember what I did, because when I discovered that the footage was just trash, I was like, okay, I'm going to film my springtime makeup look. So that's already up and live on my channel, and then I'll come back and do this again. So I've already done all the long wear tests and everything like that. I've kept everything in here because for whatever reason, they're not labeled, like their names aren't on here. They'll sometimes be a number like G72 at the bottom, but no, it's the name. So I've been keeping them in these little bags because then it has the name. I just need to get my label maker out. It won't be as like aesthetically pleasing, but then I can just put the name on it. Looks correct. So this is Duplicate Lover. Now these are a matte lip gloss, or lip stain, sorry. Matte lip glosses. I don't even know that's a thing. I guess NYX tried to do the matte, you know, lip balm, and I tried it. I didn't really care for it. And with these you do smoosh your lips together and you'll get some sparkle. But this is Duplicate Lover. And you can see, I feel like my camera films things warmer than they actually are in person. I would say it's a very cool toned nude. And definitely like a deeper nude, but it still kind of gives nude. With, let me see, I see like pink and gold shimmers throughout. And then we can just let these marinate, and you're left with a stain. Now from the long wear tests, I can tell you that some of these can, you know, start looking a little funky when the matte part starts breaking down. So you'll either get to a point where you'll want to wipe it off and just have the stain, or you'll want to reapply. But you can usually get at least through one meal, although it kind of depends what you're eating. If you're eating something like really greasy, it may not last. Just gonna wipe it off. And my lips are stained a little darker and a little browner. I actually kind of enjoy the stain because it kind of feels like it just muted down my natural lip color. I don't know why things are cheaper on the SheGlam app than like anywhere else, but they are. So if you want to try Girl Cult at a more affordable price, the Shein app is the way to go. And I love that these had sparkles in them, like a stain with sparkles. I love it. It's like my two favorite things. Is Firecracker. Let me see, it has a number. What was the number? G72. Oh. I also made this. I had this last time and I was swatching everything on paper. So here we have Duplicate Lover, and then we have Firecracker. I would say on me, I think it looks a little deeper than it does on paper. It's kind of an orangey red. And here's what it looks like once you wipe it all off. Again, I love the depth of these stains. They don't like stain my lips an obnoxious bright color, which a lot of lip stains can go that direction. And I think they do that from a longevity perspective, but from my long wear tests, I would say that these last a good while. At least they'll get you like through like a work day, you know, so they'll get you through those, you know, 7 to 10 hour range for sure. But this is M70 Horsehide. So again, this is horsehide, and it's just such a unique stain. Like, I could never find something like this, like, cool toned brown at Ulta. And I actually like to take this one and then black behind, and I can use black behind as a liner, and you can get like a really cool lip combo. So you can do kind of use them as liners, you can do some ombre stuff. So they are quite versatile. And then when you wipe it off, this is kind of what the stain, I will say, like, the longer you let it develop, the more stained your lips will be. So something to keep in mind. But I just love how muted, just the muted color of the stain that it gives you. I got some lip glosses and some eyeshadow just to try from them. So excited, but I think this video would be too long if I did like all the swatches for everything from Girl Cult that I got. So G66, and this is the lady in red. I will say, as a con, that it can be difficult to get a precise line with these. They're more for like that velvet, you know, blurred lip look. So if you're someone who likes the really sharp, precise line for your lips, you're probably not going to like these, but I like them, so. So this is G66 right there. So we've done these three. G66. Oh, and we did Horsehide, which is down here. On paper, Duplicate Lover and Horsehide look very, very similar, but I do think Horsehide, like, when you put it on the lips, is a little darker than Duplicate Lover. But they look really similar on the swatches for the paper. And I will say that these do cling to dry patches on your lips, so which you won't probably really notice until you've worn it all day, and then that matte part starts wearing off, and then you're just left with a stain, and then you might notice that your dry lips are a little bit more accentuated. That's kind of true of like almost any lip stain. So that's just why they're kind of more of can be a better like summer product, just because in the winter when you're dealing with dry lips, or if you're just someone who naturally has chronic dry lips, you may not like stains. Is what G66 Lady in Red looks like once you wipe off and you're just left with a stain. Again, I love how it's not like this obnoxious bright pink, because a lot of times with like hair stains, I've tried like the NYX IV ones, which I really like, but you think you're getting like this muted color, and then you wipe it off and it just kind of stains your lips pink. And it's like, no, I wanted it to stain my lips the color of like it started out with. I wanted it to look like that even once stained. But it's not really how it seems to work. Okay, and then we have M66, which is Heart Stealer, which I would say is more of a red. I like it because it's not bright and obnoxious, and I can wear it alone. Some other ones that are like just like really bright reds, I have to wear it with like a brown lip liner or a black lip liner or a deep burgundy or a deep plum, like something that is darker to add dimension to it. But this one is, for me at least, it's just it's like just a perfect red. I don't think this one has sparkles. And it's just such a beautiful stain. I will say that this one stains a little bit more red. It gives more of a red stain. And then the other one, G66, was I think a little brown. But I think you can even see it now at least. I've noticed that my lips are, even once I take it off with some micellar water, they're still kind of stained. Like, this isn't my normal color. Okay, so I think we can do M60, which is Born in Flames. Alright, this is Born in Flames. I will say it's very similar to G66, which G66 was the lady in red, but I think it's a deeper version. So here, so you have lady in red right there, and then here is Born in Flames. And it's just a little bit more of a darker vampire version of it. You could definitely do an ombre lip with those two. So, you know, you can have the darker starting out here, lighter in the center, and it would be very beautiful. And here is what it looks like once it's all wiped off. I think this one has kind of a purple to it. Made my lips look a little bit more purple than they would be normally. So this is G81 Puppet. This is one I don't think I would ever wear. We're starting to get into the realm of, I wouldn't wear them on their own. It went right over my Cupid's bow, this one, so if you like to connect your Cupid's bows, you can with these. I would say purpley pink sparkles to them. I'm not sure if they'll show up on camera, but it is sparkly. That's what it looked like on paper. Definitely darker on the lip. You don't have to wear these, you know, full pigment. You can just put a little bit on and then like use your finger or one of those like silicone, you know, little for the lip muds. You can use that and spread it around and give a much more less, you know, look. So it'd look a little bit more like that, how it does on paper, as opposed to this. This is full pigment right here. I will say the darker ones definitely give a darker stain. So something to keep in mind. But I have found that even if you wipe it off and then you have this stain, that it will kind of continue to break down, you know, throughout the day. This is what Puppet looks like once you've wiped it all off. I do really like this. I like it as a stain full on. It's a little gothy for me, but you're an alternative girly, you're definitely gonna love girl cult stuff. Let's do G61. Very unique, cool tone dark brown, which is so difficult to find dark browns that are cool tones, especially for stains. Done this one, or I just kind of line my lips like this, and then I'll put a different one of theirs in the center. This isn't one that, you know, I would wear full pigment. Again, you're an alternative girly. These are definitely the lip stains for you, especially if you like a matte lip. Behind that darker muted lip. My favorite. Chef's kiss. So this is what black behind looks like once you wipe it off and you're just kind of left more or less with the stain. I don't know why they called it that though. Black behind, like, whoa. I don't know what the thought process was behind that. Alright, and now let's do G73. So that's what black behind looks like on paper. I didn't show you guys. So now we're going to do G73, which is black with red metallic shimmers. So again, this is black and red, and then we'll wipe it off and see the stain. So this is more or less the black stain that you'll be left with. And the other black one that I got looks fairly similar to this. It just doesn't have that red shimmer to it. But you can, I don't know if you'll see it on camera. They're very similar, but this one does have that red metallic cast to it. Alright, and this is M62, which is Poet, and our last stain, and this is just plain black.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Kind of want to see Poet and then black and red next to each other, which are the two blacks. For somebody like me, I don't know if it's really necessary to get both, but if you're an alt girly, you probably will want both. But you can see Poet here, which is just the flat matte black, and then this is the black and red, so it has a red. Hey, I just realized that light wasn't on. I wonder if it's dying. I've done a lot of filming this morning. But you can see it is different. There's a difference to it. And in person more, I can see that metallic finish to it, those red metallic sparkles. I just don't know if it's really like pronounced, you know, the difference on camera. Oh. So let's wipe this off and see what we're working with. But I do think my skin around has been staining as I've been wiping these off. Alright, so this again is Poet down here. I do like how it looks once it's wiped off. For me, it's much more of a wearable color. They're not quite bam black, but you could do an interesting combo where then, so you let it be the stain like this, and then you go back in with Poet, and you just do like a lip liner. Like, there are so many different ways that you can play with these stains. But yeah, so this was all of them swatched that I got. I would say after this, the ones, and I know what they look like now, and they look like on me, the ones that I would get, I would definitely get the brown one, so I definitely would get M70, which is Horsehide, and then M61, which is Black Behind. I would, without a doubt, get those. And then I would probably definitely G66 and M66, which are the reds. Probably just stick with those four, and I probably would just stick with those ones, just because, although I will say that G72, which is Firecracker, makes a lovely blush shade, and the blushes like last all day. So if I was going to get ones just so I can also have some more blush shades, probably would get Firecracker and Born in Flames. I'd probably get those as well. Alright, so now we'll go and get into the long wear test and final thoughts. I will say, from just any unique colors that you can get for stains, like, you can't find these in a lot of lip stains. Usually they do like a million different shades of nudes and pinks, and then you might get some reds and a few berries, but these are definitely very unique shades that you can't find elsewhere. So let's do that, and then finally I can edit this video. This better be in focus. I will cry. I will cry. I will cry. Alright, so we did all the manners of different long wear tests for the Girl Cult lip stains.
That's crazy. Eternity later.
Alright, so first I tried doing a lip combo. I actually have a different lip combo on now. And I think the combo that I chose just didn't go as well as I liked. I used Puppet, which is the darker purple one, and then Duplicate Lover, which is more of a nude. And I just didn't really care for the two together as it wore out throughout the day. I think it just didn't wear quite as nicely. But I will say that you can't, I did find that as soon as you put like any type of lip product on, like a lip gloss or anything like that, the matte part will come completely off. So once it starts to kind of wear off and look patchy, you either need to reapply or you need to just wipe it off and just wear the stain. That was kind of the conclusion of that long wear test of doing a lip combo. And I will say that I used them as blushes. Amazing. Every time I used it as a blush, lasted all day. The wear was insane as a blush. So if you want like looking for cooler toned, more interesting color blushes, these work as blushes like crazy well. And I didn't even like powder them, prime them, or spray them with a setting spray, anything like that. It was just like a hydrating spray. It was crazy how long it lasted. I didn't spray it with anything that was like a waterproof, like long lasting setting spray, but it lasted and it was crazy. Do you mind? So cute. Alright, and I just did like a single color, and I think that one wore the best because with when you mix like a different color that's like a completely different like value and shade and everything, it wore differently. So it just, the dark purple one was like really intense, and then Duplicate Lover, the stain wasn't like on par with that intensity, so it just kind of looked a little interesting and definitely needed like a lip gloss to fix it. But when I did a single color, it was very nice. It lasted all day pretty much, but I would say towards the end it did wear off. And as it's kind of like the matte part, the matte velvet, lipstick part is breaking down, there are points where it can start looking a little funky, and again, my advice is you gotta wipe it off or reapply it, and if you wipe it off, then you can put on a gloss. I do think depending on what kind of gloss you pick, like an oil-based gloss, I think will remove some of the stain, so the stain won't be as intense. If you want to keep the intensity of the stain, you gotta pick something. You kind of gotta be careful about the lip products that you choose to put on if you want to keep the intensity of the stain. That was kind of, I think I kind of noticed that certain things might kind of interfere with the stain just a little bit, just like slightly, not a lot. I'm being a little nitpicky with it, but just slightly. And then I also tried doing a long wear test where I put it on. I did the black one, Poet, and then just let it sit for like 5 minutes and then wiped it off. Definitely, I don't think I needed to let it sit for 5 minutes. The longer you let it sit, the darker the stain, because it was quite a gothic lip look on me, even once I wiped it off. And that allowed me to kind of play around with the glosses. I was able to use the Glow Reviver Melting Lip Balm. I was kind of curious to see if this, because I love these from e.l.f., would kind of disrupt the stain. And I think it did to a degree, because after I put this on, it did look like some of it kind of came off. But then when I used an actual gloss, I think it was fine. It didn't interfere with the product as much. So I think an oil and a balm kind of will. So it just depends if you want to. You just gotta play around with it and decide, like, how intense of the stain do you want. And I was kind of wondering, like, is it removing the stain, or is there still like more of the matte liquid, the matte velvet part that I wasn't able to wipe off, and it's removing that as opposed to removing the stain. And I don't really have an answer to that. Kind of just gotta play around. I do think that Girl Cult is worth it. It's definitely a very comfortable matte formula. I'm not usually a matte girly. I do like some matte products, but I'm not the biggest matte fan. So, but I do like these. They're quite comfortable. I can wear it and not be like, I need to put like something nourishing on my lips to counteract how this is feeling. It feels very comfortable, and I think that's because it's a velvet formula. But it feels quite nice even right now. It feels very nice. Like, I could definitely forget that I have something on my lips. I also definitely like how some of them have sparkles, like a sparkly lip stain is kind of a newer thing that I haven't really seen. So as far as, I do think that these are worth it if you like velvet lipsticks, if you like lip stains, and you like more unique shades that you wouldn't be able to walk into a Sephora and an Ulta here in the West and find these shades, because a lot of stuff in the West is they do the nudes and then they do very warm tone stuff. There's not a lot of more of like the alternative cool toned lip colors. So, and they do have some pinks. I was just getting kind of the more fun shades that I was like, I couldn't get anywhere else, you know? So I definitely would say that they're worth it from a formula perspective. I like the Velvet. I do think it's quite a long-lasting formula. Again, if you gotta kind of decide if you want to reapply, if you want to keep the Velvet, or you gotta wipe it completely off. So then you just have a nice even stain underneath, because it can look a little funky as the Velvet part is breaking down throughout the day. But that's more like towards way towards the end of the day, like you've eaten breakfast, you've eaten lunch, and then it's, you know, afternoon, and it can start looking a little funky after that. But it can definitely survive one meal. Like, you can eat one meal and be totally fine. So if you put this on for like a dinner, I think you'll be totally fine. Although it kind of depends what you're eating. You know, if you're eating something greasy that you're really biting into, and, you know, all that grease will probably break it down. So will kind of just depend what you're eating on that front. But I do think it's worth it to get the shades, the unique shades. I do like the formula. It's quite comfortable. It's long lasting. And again, it's kind of difficult to find these shades. Like, you can't go into a drugstore here in America and find, you know, these shades in a stain is the key. You can probably find it maybe in a lipstick and other stuff, but not in a lip stain. These are definitely very unique from a stain perspective. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments if you think that Girl Cult lip stains are worth it. And again, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, they are cheaper on the Shein app than it is to get it off TikTok shop or off Amazon. It might be on YesStyle too, I didn't check. But it's definitely cheaper on Shein. So if you want to try these, I would recommend going to the Shein app and getting them there so you can get a better deal. And it makes it a lot more affordable. Like, I would have not been able to buy so many stuff if I had gotten them off Amazon. Probably would have just gotten like 3 or maybe 5. And then also on Shein, you can get the 2 for 1, so you can get 2 of them and get an even better discount getting them that way. So definitely recommend going to Shein. So yeah, we have some more stuff to try. We're going to have some lip glosses next, and probably we'll just do the eyeshadow palette in this. I think if I did everything, this video would be way too long, and I like to do long wear tests. I'm kind of curious how their lip glosses will react with the lip stain. Maybe that will be the way to go, and they'll be more compatible. Because as I said, I do think that the balms and the oils do kind of break it down, but if it's a true like lip gloss with a lip gloss base, I think it will be. I noticed that was more fine, didn't break down as much. So yeah, I'll be curious to see how their lip glosses work with their lip stain. But yeah, I definitely say if you like interesting colors, you'll like this. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!